Hi, so I'm going to talk a little bit about moving away from home when you first become a student. So for me, that was quite scary. I'd never moved away from home before, never even moved house. I've only ever lived with my parents. So it was quite a shock to the system. I remember being in my room and thinking like, oh my god, it looks so empty without all of my stuff. But that is something that you've got to remember. Just take as much as you can, especially if you're doing a creative course. I know I had boxes of tissue paper and ribbons and stuff like that, which I was like, I won't need them. But you do. You need them for your sketchbook and you need them for making costumes and little bits like that. So choosing accommodation. So for me, I chose the student accommodation based off how far away it was from uni. Literally like a 5-minute, 10-minute walk. I could practically see it from my accommodation, which was nice. Especially if you have late afternoon lessons, you don't want to be walking around the city in the dark. It was also based on price. Obviously, that's a really big one. I didn't really have a lot of money to be spending on accommodation. We looked at quite a few accommodations that were all fairly close to each other, especially in Leeds. There's accommodations everywhere. You could. I used halls instead. So like rather than getting a house, I decided on halls. It's more social. You can live in a flat with up to like six or maybe even like 7 or 10, I'm not sure. I lived in a flat of 4 people, and that was enough for me. Looking back, I kind of wish I did go for a bigger flat because I might have met more people, which would have been nice. The accommodation that I stayed at had just been newly renovated, which I was really happy about because it was nice and clean. The beds were nice and everything. It wasn't like you felt like you were sleeping in a bed that like a million other people had slept in. Whatever is important to you, if you want it to be close to a pub or close to something, like you've got to think what's important to have around you. If you're looking for a student accommodation or even looking for a letting agency to go with, for student accommodation for halls, the way that I approached it was there was an open day at University Centre, and I went and we asked the reception, like, is there any accommodations close by, and they give us a list of a bunch. And we went and we looked, and I think we secured a property then and there. It was really easy. It's like a nice process. If you are going into housing and you want like a house with a few people and you're trying to choose a letting agent, do your research and look at all the reviews, because students will tell you. Even on the website, if you go on it's like Rent Inc or something like that, then it'll have reviews on the website, or even just Google, and people are brutally honest and they will tell you if that is a reliable letting agency. If you are trying to find information on accommodation, or even if it's just information about socialising or anything like that, usually once you get into an accommodation, they'll have a Facebook page or some sort of forum that you can talk to other students in if you want to. They're always very helpful. Halls, which is why I recommend going into halls first before you go into a house, because there is so many social things and little networking opportunities available. If you're looking for like a Facebook group, the one that I'm on is Leeds Student Group, and in brackets it's LSG. That is so helpful for literally anything. if you are living in halls, or if you're living with a group of people, be very aware of how those people like to live. So if they are very private people or very particular people, then you've got to respect that.